What are you?
I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
Really? But you want to know so much else about yourself. Why
Well,
don't
not about myself, but about life. Not necessarily about myself, because I'm just a channel. Life goes through me. I have a heart that beats, and life goes through me. I have an intelligence which you know, hopefully will give me some answers that I seek. That's all.
A season of highly acclaimed plays for Sundays on 4 begins with Tom Stoppard's Professional Foul, an intriguing cocktail of philosophy and football.
England looked like a nation of goalkeepers. Stop.
The ethics of the state must be judged against the fundamental ethic of the individual.
Neo-Hegelians or Quinian neo-positivists? Which do you fancy?
Philosophy is getting at my nostrils!
Professional Foul, drama for tonight on 4.
Coming up next here on 4, the news summary from ITN.
We've bought you American football. We've bought you Tour de France. We've bought you sumo. Now, hold your breath. Kabaddi comes to Channel 4, one of Asia's most popular sports. No goals, no nets, no balls, but a lot of puff. Join the spectacular action Kabaddi at 6 tonight on 4. It'll take your breath away.
There are certain rules you might follow when painting, but not when you're using Crown Advance. It's a rich, creamy emulsion that covers in just one coat. Advance from Crown. Paint that rewrites the rules.
Gini est parti en Grande-Bretagne.
I like light and light likes me. Light in my coffee and light in my tea. Coffee and tea likes light like me. The light is sweetener with no calories.
It's Hermesitas Light.
Drama tomorrow when the Channel 10 news team isn't the only one calling the shots.
But we're not walking out of here without a deal. Get it under control.
I'm a professional, Ann.
The ratings on this one go through the ceiling.
What happened? What the hell went wrong?
It's not every day you get somebody shot. Are you willing to say any of this on camera?
You think I'm letting my emotions get in the way of my judgment?
You tell me.
I did tell you. It's a damn good story.
Behind the Headlines with ENG, tomorrow at 10 on 4.
Dawn Griffiths sold her soul to News International. After her baby Alex was snatched, she was paid a 6-figure sum to tell her exclusive story. On Hard News this Sunday, she explains why she'd never do it again.
Because people need to know what really happens, and other people who maybe, hopefully, God forbid it never happens again, that anybody in any type of situation like this knows what they're letting themselves in for. They've got to know.
In 5 minutes, 7 intrepid women set off on a 5,000-mile journey through eastern Tibet to see how the march of time and the ravages of the Chinese have affected the people and their culture since the days of the great French explorer Alexandra David-Neel. First, we join the studios of ITN and Sue Carpenter for the latest news summary.
Good afternoon. The White House says President Bush is still suffering from an irregular heartbeat. He's to stay at Bethesda Naval Hospital today for observation while he takes drugs to control atrial fibrillation, a condition which, although not serious, does cause breathlessness. The president became unwell jogging at Camp David. Relief organisations in Bangladesh have criticised the government there for failing to take adequate precautions for last week's cyclone. Up to 200,000 are now thought to have been killed and up to 10 million made homeless. The relief agencies say that despite the constant threat of cyclones in Bangladesh, the government has not built cyclone shelters for 20 years. Kurdish refugees are said to be streaming back into the security zone carved out by Western Allied troops in northern Iraq. A team of British disaster relief experts and firemen are now on their way to the camps. In South Africa, the Zulu Inkatha Freedom Party has threatened to deploy 100,000 fighters in Soweto Township to halt violence which it blames on the African National Congress. President F.W. de Klerk, addressing one of South Africa's biggest black churches today, said some groups were trying to make the country ungovernable. There are signs that the 16-year-old civil war in Lebanon could be coming to an end. The Lebanese army, supported by Syria, is preparing to extend state control over all the country. The government says Palestinian and other Lebanese militia will cooperate and lay down their arms. Here, the Liberal Democrats leader, Paddy Ashdown, has renewed his demand for a deal on proportional representation if the next general election results in a hung parliament. Mr Ashdown said he wouldn't cooperate with Labour or the Conservatives unless they brought in what he called a fair vote. The Labour Party says it's not interested in any pacts after the next election. The Irish Prime Minister, Charles Haughey, says problems over the new inter-party talks on the future of Northern Ireland will be overcome soon. Unionist politicians have been insisting that the Dublin government's entry into the process should take place in London, but Roman Catholic politicians in the province want talks on Irish soil. 2 young women have been found dead in a caravan at Bradworthy in North Devon. Sharon Parnell, who was 19, and Joanne Babb, aged 20, died after inhaling carbon monoxide from a gas water heater. A third woman was rescued. British gas engineers said the heater was not faulty, but it should not have been used continuously for more than 5 minutes. That's the end of this summary. The next news from ITN is on ITV at 6:30. But from me, good afternoon.
Now the weather. Eastern parts of England will be mainly cloudy overnight, with a few showers still likely in the far southeast. Further west, there'll be clear spells and it'll become quite cold. But western Scotland and Northern Ireland should stay fairly mild, with drizzle at times. Tomorrow, this drizzly rain will move southeast, reaching northern England and parts of Wales towards evening, as brighter weather follows from the north. Over eastern and southern England, morning clouds should slowly break up to give a dry afternoon with some sunshine. And it should feel a little warmer too.
A season of highly acclaimed plays for Sundays on 4 begins with Tom Stoppard's Professional Foul, an intriguing cocktail of football and philosophy.
Now, we know that when Mary says you eat well,
England looked like a nation of goalkeepers. Stop.
She does not mean that John eats skillfully.
This goal emboldened the Czechs to move Bartok, like the composer.
The ethics of the state must be judged against the fundamental ethic of the individual.
He scored both times from the same move and came close twice more.
Oh, yeah?
Excuse me, Brad. Yeah. You eat well, but you're a lousy eater.
Professional Foul. Drama for tonight on 4.
We've bought you American football. We've bought you Tour de France. We've bought you sumo. Now, hold your breath. Kabaddi comes to Channel 4, one of Asia's most popular sports. No goals, no nets, no balls, but a lot of puff. Join the spectacular action Kabaddi at 6 tonight on 4. It'll take your breath away.
From India to the awesome mountains of Tibet now on 4, as 7 intrepid women set out in the footsteps of a legend.
At the turn of the century, an unconventional French woman, Alexandra David-Neel, left her home in Paris to travel east. She spent 15 years exploring Tibet, often sleeping in nomads' tents and traveling dressed as a beggar.